Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of X4 The Beginner's Guide. There's a couple of things we're going to cover today, a few little bits and bobs that people have brought up and some clarification of some stuff as well. Now the first thing I want to discuss is to let you all know that even though I'm doing it this way, this is the way I found the easiest way to kind of get you going on your journeys, but it's not the only way. And I want to comment on the fact that, you know, people will say different things about how you can go about this game, and they are all true. You don't have to play this game one way. There are ways you can play the game where you're controlling the ships the whole time, and you can just set things in the background. You can do everything yourself if you want. The part of the guide later on, we will start covering things from the cockpit more, but at the moment we are spending a lot of time in the map because what I'm trying to do here is set you up with some cash flow to keep you going, or to at least get you going, so then you're free to do what you want to do and for you to be able to have something to fall back on. Because the one thing you'll notice by doing it this way is you will have a constant supply of cash. There shouldn't be any way for it to run out, and that's why I say about flooding the market. The economy that I have economy mods, which I mentioned at the beginning of it. They affect how the gameplay is. So I'm used to playing where the economy fluctuates, where they'll have more or less demand for something. If you're playing it vanilla style, then the likelihood is them economies won't be as affected. But for more realistic terms, I've kind of gone this route. Again, I cannot stress to you enough, there are multiple ways you can play this game. Absolutely tons. So if you don't like the way I'm playing it, then the best suggestion is either take what I've taught you on how to earn money and then find a different way, or at least have this as your fallback plan. If you look now, we're just talking now, look at the credits going up. We're up to 1 million credits already, and we haven't put in any time whatsoever. We can now start thinking about building our own stations, our own factories, building bigger, better ships, which is what we're going to be going on to on the next episode, is the bigger ships earning us big bucks. But I just wanted to cover that because obviously some people do, you know, have a valid point. There are other ways of making money. There may be faster ways of making money. This way I've done every time, and I've had a brilliant start throughout the game. If you want to know more advanced techniques on how to earn money and stuff like that, then let me know. I can either go through with you on some of the things, or we can look later on down the line about advanced methods of earning money and stuff like that. But for now, remember, this is the basics, the beginners, something to get you back into it. Whatever way you want to look at it, it is that way. Now, a few people have mentioned that they've not been able to earn enough credits at the start to be able to get a ship. If that happens to you, you need to start looking at things you can drop off your ship. So what we're going to look at is options that you have if you can't earn the credits right at the start, if you haven't got enough for that initial boost. What you want to do is, if we bring up the small size ship here, and we did the mineral miner first, and then we did minimum preset, and then I suggested you got the docking computer Mark II, and you put your crew up as full as you can. That for me is 186,000 credits. For some people it's been coming up as more credits. Just double check and make sure you've got the right ship for a start. If you're using a different shipyard, prices do fluctuate. Different factions have different prices as well. I can't take that into account, unfortunately. You know, this is just using the Argon system. But the few things we can do is, obviously, we can drop our crew down to however much. We don't need the 3 crew for the miner. Just makes it a little bit easier for us. The other thing as well, I don't suggest it, but if you do, it's only a small mining ship. It'll slow it down slightly, drop it down to a docking computer Mark 1. If worse comes to worse, you can drop that off. You don't need it. It just, without the docking computer, it's going to take absolutely forever for them to dock. That's why I suggest using one or the other. The other thing you can double check is make sure your thrusters, again, they will slow things down slightly, but there are prices to be saved there in your thrusters. And again, in your engines, see 20,000 credits there, 40,000 credits for an all-round Mark 1. You know, at the grand scheme of things, it isn't going to make a massive difference in your ship. Very minute. For what you want it for at the beginning, don't worry about it. Just drop the money down if you can. You can. I mean, look at that, 138. We just said 30 grand there. And we didn't change these, so we can change our thrusters. We can drop the shields off, make sure we don't have any shields. Obviously, we want our mining drill. We can drop the docking computer off if we really must. 130,000. You know, we didn't pick a mining drill, so let's just grab a mining drill. Still 136,000. So just have a look at that. Have a good close look at what ship you're picking. Make sure it's a small size ship, and then go for that. That hopefully will help out those of you who are struggling with the money side of things. However, some of you have mentioned that you've been getting mining ships, and they have, sorry, not mining ships, the trading ships, like the one I have here. So I built 2 trading ships, and I bought 2 hoping that both would be high enough level to be able to do the distribute wares. However, the second one doesn't, and I mentioned this, and I said, you know, I'm going to keep it anyway because we'll be using it at a later stage. See, our crew skill is 1 star, so if we try and get it to set distribute wares, we need 2 stars. We can't do that. So what can you do if that is the ship you've got? You could do what I've done and buy 2 or 3 or 4. You should have your mining ship. If you haven't got the resources enough, which you should do if you've got these mining ships here, and I will go into if you can't auto mine, I'll go into that as well. I suggest holding on, buying more ships. You know, buy more, max out the crews as best you can, and you will get one that'll distribute wares. Save the ones you've got. You're going to need them at a later stage, and we'll go into more details into that at a later stage. However, as I showed you, if you really don't have the distribute wares, then just do auto trades. Manual trades. Trade yourself something that you can find in the system. There are loads of things. You know, someone mentioned about the shipbuilding side of things. Definitely, hull parts will always sell wherever you go. Ships are constantly being made. I mean, they're flying around everywhere, getting blown up everywhere. Anything to do with shipbuilding. And if you want to know more about that, just go onto the Wikipedia or the encyclopedia. I think the encyclopedia goes into detail about the ships and what they're going to need. It goes into all sorts here. Look at this. Heavy mining ships and all sorts. It'll show you the mining ships. I don't look into these. But somewhere in there, it will show you what's kind of used in mining in ships. I don't tend to look at it, so I could be wrong though. It could have been even removed or not even in there in the first place. But you'll find some stuff online, no issues there. And just trade for them. Now I'm going to go back to the mining side of things, because obviously a lot of people have had some small issues with the mining side of things. What if my mining ship sits there and does nothing? A bit like this guy here. He's doing absolutely nothing. Well, he is actually mining. If we look at his information, he's gathering resources, mining resources, and he's not filled up yet. But a lot of people have been sat there with miner ships, mining stuff that's... I don't know if I can get him to do it because he's already mid-mine, so he will actually have resources around him that he'll collect. Let's just see if we can get... We'll get another mining ship. So now we've got 1.2 million credits. We can start looking at something nice. So I'm going to get myself... We'll get a gas miner. I don't like the argon gas miners. I think they look pretty fugly, to be fair. Well, it'll do us. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for high preset. So that's pretty much as high as it's going to get. And it's 1 million credits. Don't worry, we're not going to go for that. We're going to drop things down. So we're going to have the medium engines, because that saves us a bunch of cash already. Medium thrusters. We'll keep the higher shield on there. We don't want flight. We'll have bolt turrets. Definitely want docking computer Mark 2. Long range scanner. We'll keep the long range scanner so we can find resources a bit easier. Object scanner. We don't need one of them. We don't need targeting. Ooh, do we? Don't we? Don't we? Should we have one? We'll grab a targeting computer just in case he gets into trouble. No, to be fair, he's got crappy turrets. So, as a matter of fact, I didn't change both turrets. But be wary of that. I think I mentioned it in the past. There are 2 slots. Swap them both out. As you double check that. It can also happen for shields as well, and stuff like that. I don't know if it does it for thrusters and engines. I haven't noticed it. Consumables. We'll drop this with... We'll have 5 advanced satellites, 10 standard satellites, 10 nav beacons, and 10 resource probes. I'll explain later as to why I've got them on this ship, kind of later down the line, and we'll utilize it. We don't want the laser towers and stuff like that. Friend or foe mines. We don't need to worry about stuff like that. Hopefully, you won't get into too much bother. Our crew, we've got Marines and service crew. I'm just going to drop it down and take full crew establishment. Now we're on 1.1 million, so I think it's actually the price of these advanced satellites. These are expensive, so we'll drop them off. 628,000. So, I like that. So let's get him here. So, first gas miner Mark 1. Add to shopping list. First gas miner Mark 1. Confirm order. Hopefully it won't take too long to build that, so we will skip the time ahead until it's finished built. I'm going to release it, let it do its business, and show you what happens if it's just going to sit there. And welcome back, everybody. And as you can see, we've got our gas miner out there, but he's just wandering around aimlessly. He's not doing anything at all. He's free mining, searching for resources, doing absolutely nothing. I've done this in Argon Prime for a reason, because Argon Prime doesn't have any gas, and the reason why we know that is because all this is red, which means it's ore. It's a mineral field. So you got your mineral fields which contain ore and silicon, and pretty much everything else that's on that list. So he's just going to wander around there doing nothing. So that's problem number one. First of all, make sure you're mining in a sector that has the resources you need. Problem number one. Problem number two that a lot of people have is that it collects resources and then sits there with the resources and does nothing with it in a sector. So we're going to jump into the next sector where I've sent my little ship on ahead, and I'm going to get him to no, I'm not, because we've already done it. Ignore me. So we're going to send our gas miner here. He's going to go into this here. He's going to drop a resource probe that we've put in the ship, which I mentioned earlier about putting in. And this is the reason why, because we can launch him here. And I'm going to purposefully, hopefully, if this sector doesn't have all the factories for it, I'm going to pick up something that no factory in the sector needs to show you that that's the reason why it will sit there doing nothing, and how to resolve it if it does happen to you, and how to notice it. So let's get him over there. Let's drop a probe, see what's in there. Hopefully by that time my little ship will have gone around and checked out for any factories within the sector, because that AI will see the factories even though you can't, and will more than likely go towards it. Sometimes they don't, sometimes they do. They're a bit finicky about that. But let's get him over there and let's see what it's like when he is hopefully found something that nobody needs. And welcome back, everybody. As you can see, our mining ship is sat there doing absolutely nothing. He's moved because I've placed resource probes all about the place just to see if there's anything at all in this system other than hydrogen, and there isn't. And we've got the problem that it's now got a full load of hydrogen that we can do nothing at all with. And I've had this comment with people before. Wait. Thank you. So, what can we do now? Now, I've suggested to people drop your contents and mine a different resource. That works perfectly fine for minerals, usually. However, I will point out at this stage that everybody's game is completely different. What my sector takes here, your sector may not take. I have ore in that sector, and it takes ore. It makes it a lot more easier for me to use a mineral ship in there. You can have a look at the background. You can see straight away that there are electronics, there are antimatter stuff, you know, microchip stuff. These are all parts and stuff like that. You'll find that in here somewhere. I can't remember where it was. Oh, it's nearby here. Here it is. Busy one. Ore refinery. And I think this, well, the microchip took silicon components, and it was a silicon factory. There it is. Silicon refinery there. So we know straight away that silicon and ore are perfect for that system. And that system, because we've got our little resource probe, has ore and silicon. Plenty of it. Loads of it. Get some miner ships in there. And as long as the market stays remaining, if you're using the mod, then you're absolutely fine. You're going to be cashing in every time. And we're cashing in loads every time. However, we've still got a ship sat here. Now, I've chosen the gas because I knew the gas would be more than likely in this case, and it is. This entire sector here has hydrogen. It's everywhere. But nothing in this sector takes hydrogen. Our ships are low. So therefore, they're not going to do auto mining in multiple sectors. They are only going to stay in the one sector. So you've got a couple of choices. You can choose to place your ship into storage until you've got a higher cruise, or if you want to micromanage, which I'm going to show you now, it's another option. So as you can see, I've whacked in here a filter for hydrogen. You can do it as well. So if you get your filter settings, activate your filters, add a word for hydrogen, you get your little bar that pops up here, scroll out, and there we go. We've got hydrogen in this sector here. You highlight that, it'll tell you which one. So there it is. So this factory here takes hydrogen. Remove our little filter there, drop it back down. Refined goods complex. That's going to take hydrogen. The likelihood is that factory type will take it in other sectors, but we haven't explored everything yet. We've sent our little ship out. I've expanded his search parameters into the black hole sun where we first started. So he's wandering around looking. Hopefully he will find a new one. But for now we're going to micromanage him and we're going to send him down here. And we're going to sell, trade with, hydrogen. We're going to sell our entire contents of hydrogen. 100,000 credits.
Would like to remind all visitors to keep their
Confirm.
belongings with them at all times.
That ship's now going to empty its entire cargo into the refined goods complex, making us 100,000 credits. Doesn't sound like much, but it's going to be on top of everything else we're earning. The more ships you've got doing this, the more money you're going to earn like this. And this is a little bit of micromanaging. But what's going to happen then is he's going to go back to the settings we've put them on, which is obviously in our behavior, which is to sector auto mine in second contact to flashpoint for hydrogen. He's then going to sit in the system again. He's going to be a sitting duck, so this is where you want to start looking at getting ships for defense and stuff like that. But he has made money. He's also gained experience for his skill levels, therefore we're more than likely to get it where we can start doing sector auto mine in multiple sectors. We'll come to that once we get a ship in that stage. Until that point, hopefully this has helped you out with a little bit of knowledge on this kind of stuff, and hopefully it's helped you be able to avoid stuff like that. The easiest way is if you've got ore and silicon in a system and it's taking silicon and you've mined ore, it's full, it's stopped, drop the entire cargo contents, switch over to silicon, and then pick up the silicon and see if it resolves the issue. That's your first port of call. Your second port of call is doing exactly what I've done here. Let me know if you need any help with anything else whatsoever. If you kind of need some more information and stuff like that, please message in the comment section. I'll get back to you, or I will cover it in another video like I've done here. Well, until next time, everybody, take care for now, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye for now.